put it in God's hands. I let go. I let God
Amen.
decide when uh, when I have to come across some kind of crossroads. I pray about it, and I leave it in God's hands. And a lot of times it comes out better than I could have tried to plan it myself.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you. And no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is a broker, CCIM, and developer. Also works with a lot of developers based in McAllen and South Padre Island, who works closely as well with investors in Mexico who are looking at investing in the Texas area. And he's also heavily involved with the Texas Realtors and is currently running for City Council in South Padre Island. Please welcome Esteban Flores. Esteban, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dylan, pleasure to be here. How you doing?
It's great to have you. I'm doing great. I'm in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, so I'm just blessed to be able to do this. But man, do you have a lot going on. We were talking a little bit before hopping on the show here, and I was taking copious notes of all the verticals and asset classes that you're involved in and running for city council. I've actually never been to South Padre Island, which is a shame because I lived in Texas for 5 or 6 years, lived in Dallas, lived in San Antonio. I'd been to McAllen, been to Mission, never been to South Padre Island, but I've heard so many great things. Are you a lifelong Texas native?
So actually, I am not, but I got here as fast as I could. I was originally born in San Diego, California. I love San Diego. That's my hometown, born
Yeah.
and raised. But my parents brought me out here when I was about 11 years old, and South Padre Island is the first place that I came to visit, and it was beautiful. I was blown away. I got bought they bought me my first pair of rollerblades there, and I've seen the city just kind of develop throughout the years. It's beautiful. It's a shame you've never been here, but you're
I
welcome.
know.
You have a home here in South Padre Island whenever you want. I actually have several condos out here on the island, and you're welcome anytime. I have them up on Airbnb as well. So it's great to host a lot of tourists that come and visit our beautiful island. It's the most beautiful beach in Texas.
As far as I know, I mean, it's got to be the one of, if not the most frequented spot for people who are looking for a getaway that are also currently residents in Texas. I mean, every time, definitely in San Antonio, I felt like, man, I really have to go check out this South Padre Island because people keep talking about how much of a great time it is. But I want to pivot a bit here, Esteban, and ask you how you got into the real estate space. How did you get into real estate?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, that's a great question, Dylan. And I've been in real estate since about 2005. And the way that I got in is my parents had a couple of investment, like rental properties in San Diego. And when I was born, we lived in a home, and then as my dad would get a raise or a bonus, and he started having more kids, we'd rent, he would rent out that home and buy a new home and rent out the other home, and then buy a new home and rent out the other home. So we had about five, or he had about five homes in San Diego, and then we moved to Texas, and then all of a sudden, the homes that he bought in the 80s in San Diego were worth a lot more money than what he bought them for.
Yep.
So we did 1031 exchanges and bought some apartment complexes in South Texas, having no previous like real estate background experience. So at the age of 18, I got my real estate license to help them manage the apartments, but I was painting, changing locks, doing all the grunt work. And then I went off to college to Texas State, got my degree in business management, moved back down to South Texas, and got a couple jobs that I didn't like. And with a college degree and getting the main, like minimum wage, it was about 2010, 2011. The economy was completely the opposite of what it was now. Lots of foreclosures. Banks weren't financing. So I said, well, why don't I get back into real estate? So I started representing several investors because at that time there was only like cash deals and investors
Yeah.
because the banks weren't financing. And I represented a lot of investors in short sales and foreclosure properties. And that's how I started getting more experience in real estate.
I actually want to ask you about being bilingual, and then also you mentioned working with Mexican investors. So I'm not Spanish speaker originally. I learned Spanish when I came out to Santo Domingo, really the first time, and learned, wow, okay, I have to learn how to speak Spanish. Otherwise, this is going to be very difficult. But
Hmm.
Texas being such a bilingual state, I've always said this, that one of the quickest and fastest ways to really differentiate yourself is to be able to speak both languages, specifically in real estate.
Hmm. Absolutely. Being bilingual has really, really helped in my career. I've always lived along the border. San Diego's the border city with Tijuana, and McAllen is border with Reynosa, and so we're on the border by the sea, and a big part of our economy depends on tourism from Mexico. A lot of the big entrepreneurs in Mexico and business owners, they come out here to vacation, to shop, and to visit the beach. So a lot of that's how we were able to get a lot of big investors that are looking to get their investors visas from Mexico. Now I'm very highly involved with an organization called AMPI. It's the Asociación Mexicana de Profesionales Inmobiliarios, which is basically the equivalent of the Realtors Association in Mexico. So
Yeah.
they've invited me out to Mexico. I'm an international guest speaker at a lot of their conferences. I'm going to be speaking in Chihuahua at their national conference in October. I'm going to be speaking in another conference in Monterrey. It's called the Regio Foro, which is their largest real estate forum in Monterrey. So I'm their guest speaker there. And I've kind of become the liaison for Mexican realtors and Mexican investors in Texas. So when a lot of these Mexican investors that want to invest in Texas, they will hit me up and have me help them look for deals out here.
That's such a tremendous accomplishment. And living now in Santo Domingo myself, another, of course, Spanish speaking area, it's not lost on me just how huge that is because, of course, sharing a border, Texas and Mexico, you're going to have a lot of people who are interested in both areas, and then with the ability to uh, not just work with American investors, but also with Mexican investors. This really just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. I'm curious to get your perspective as someone who's you mentioned speaking at events in Mexico, and then of course you're heavily involved in South Padre and in McAllen. How do you decide which deals to look at, which investors to work with? Is it kind of a progressive uh, 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 scaling, or is it more of, hey, I have to be very selective with which deals and which investors to work with?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Well, basically, it's like whichever deal makes the most money, right? And I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it makes sense, and you got to pick and choose because you can't do everything, right? So it just depends. It depends. I like to do business with people that I like. I don't like to do deals with difficult people or people that are just gonna make the deals difficult or a hard time.
Yeah.
It just all depends. But above all, I have a rule of thumb that I just say, put it in God's hands, let go. I let God
Amen.
decide when when I have to come across some kind of crossroads. I pray about it and I leave it in God's hands. And a lot of times it comes out better than I could have tried to plan it myself.
I want to pivot a bit here and ask you about running for city council. So many different uh, areas that you're involved in: CCIM, broker, Mexican investors, US investors, but running for city council in South Padre as well. How did that come about?
Well, it was just an opportunity that happened, and as I started living more on the island, a lot of people started complaining to, or just in conversation, a lot of the small business owners community would be like, "Oh man," they were just complaining about things happening on the islands and telling me about the challenges that they face and the problems, and I remember I brought a group of big realtors and investors from Mexico one time, and I was bragging about the island. I'm like, this is the most beautiful beach in Texas. We love this place, like blah blah blah. And then they showed up, and I was like, what do you think? And I'm excited. And they're like, oh, it's cute. I'm like, okay, well, tell me how you really feel. And they're like, well, it's cool and clean, but it just lacks like investment. It's missing something. And it just lacking some investment, lacking a little bit of life. And a lot of the business owners and developers have told me that it's just really, really hard to get through to the current like city officials. It's very cliquish. It's very like anti-competitive, but it's so beautiful, and there's so many opportunities. And the word that they used was "está bien ochentero," and I was like, well, what does that mean? They're like,
Yeah.
it seems like it got lost like in the 80s. Like there was a lot of development
Oh,
going on in the 80s, and then like the investment just kind of stopped somewhere. So a lot of the complaints are like, hey, well, it's because like the current like city officials are very cliquish and anti-competitive. So I'm not a person that likes to focus on problems. I like to focus on solutions. So then I started proposing a lot of solutions, and they're like, that's amazing. Like, we need somebody forward thinking. Like, why don't you run? And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not a politician. I'm just saying like that would work. Like that's something that could work. And then I would talk to other people, and they'd be like, you should run. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And then when I started talking to other people, and they were like, no, seriously, like you. So I started looking for excuses for people to tell me no, and I started looking at pros and cons. And the more that people would tell me, the more I tried to find the no's. And as I started looking for people to tell me no and why I shouldn't, more and more people started saying like, just do it, just apply. So I said, okay. I put it in God's hands. I prayed about it, and I said, okay, I'll just give it a shot. And
so here we are. I,
who
I
knows
want
what
to
can
ask you
happen. Mm.
maybe a rudimentary question here, but what is the role of the city council in Texas cities, and what kind of influence can they have in an area like, South Padre?
Well, you know what? I've never been a city councilman, so I'm not exactly sure. But I'm a quick learner. I'm pretty forward thinking, and it's just voting on things, on motions, on budgets, on issues, on zoning issues, and different motions and agenda items that come up, and what's in the best interest of the citizens, what's in the best interest of the property owners. I'm all for protecting private property rights. I think that's so important. We don't want the government to infringe on private property rights. This is your property. You should do with it as you please, as long as you conform to the ordinances. But we don't want these ordinances to get out of the hands, and the cities and the municipalities and the government to tell you what you can and can't do with your property.
Yep.
Also, like the budgeting, you don't want pork barrel spending. The projects that come up, you want to make sure you keep the property taxes low and all that sort of thing, and just the vision and the direction of the city and what you want to focus on and what kind of challenges can come up, and what are the solutions. So, like I said, I'm solutions oriented. I'm a fast learner. I've never done anything like this before, so it's way out of my comfort zone. But here we are. You never know what's going to happen.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I want to pivot a bit here and ask you about the developer world. I actually just had a developer in Rochester, New York, on the podcast here before
Okay.
this episode, and it's definitely a interesting vertical to be in the real estate space, an interesting asset class to deal with because there's a lot of risk, a lot of reward, and leverage as well. And you mentioned your parents were involved in real estate as investors. What's been your experience as a developer, and if someone was an aspiring developer, what advice would you give them?
Right. So my parents were involved, and it was more like long-term rental properties that they were doing. The investor world is a little bit different, but as developers, like we get to change the landscape of the real estate and in your cities and your municipalities. So you take a piece of raw land with nothing on it, and you have a vision for it, and then you do a design plan for it, and then you add in, you get the permits for it and everything, and then you add in the infrastructure, the underground utilities, electrical, sewer, water, streets, the regulations, restrictions for the property, and just turning raw dirt into something and seeing the improvements on it. There's something really special about that. And there's different like tiers to it. I mean, you have the developer that develops the land, you have the builder that builds it, you have the brokers and realtors that sell it. So there's different levels to it. So I kind of just grew vertically from being a realtor to a broker to a builder and then a developer. So it's just fascinating to be like well-rounded. Like I said, I'm a quick learner. So as I started learning more and more and more and getting into more opportunities that were presented to me, the more I started taking things on and just learning about it and executing and doing it. So it's just been a fascinating ride.
That's one of the things that I love most about Texas is the welcome that investors feel, because ultimately that's what's needed to transform landscape. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I said this when I moved from San Antonio to Dallas, which was actually last year, and I stayed in Dallas briefly and then moved out to Santo Domingo. But I said, as soon as I left, it felt like the whole landscape of San Antonio had changed, which is remarkable because in many other cities it'd be very difficult to make that kind of great change. But also, it seems like so many areas of Texas are expanding and expanding so rapidly, and there's tremendous investment and tremendous interest. You mentioned your family is from San Diego or had grown up in part in San Diego. That's the story of so many folks, and so as a someone who's lived in Texas, I've got a lot of love for Texas and Texas investors and all the possibilities that are out there.
Absolutely. And what I'm doing now, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do in San Diego because San Diego's so competitive, so saturated, so expensive. So we were able to take what my parents built over there and bring it over here and just expand on it. And Texas is so welcoming to business owners and developers and investors. So we were able to transition pretty easily and quickly over here, and it's been just a great experience.
Esteban, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go if maybe they'd like to reach out to you? Maybe they have a commercial deal they'd like your feedback or to look at, or maybe they're in the South Padre area and would like to reach out to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. So our area in South Texas is one of the most affordable real estate markets in the United States. So we get investors from all over the United States and all over Mexico that say are investing here, and you get a really, really good return on your investment down here. A lot of great opportunities. I own an independent boutique brokerage with over 25 realtors. You could look us up www.effective.realestate, no.com, just effective.realestate. And you can find me on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. To search effective.realestate, Esteban Flores. And yeah, feel free to reach out. We represent a lot of investors out here, and you're gonna not gonna believe how affordable and easy it is to get started down here in real estate investing.
Esteban, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
It's been an honor. Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.